Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Black Clover chapter 290. Before I get into this week's review, I of course have to mention my subscriber goal for 2021, hitting 5,000 by the end of the year. So if you're already a fan of my videos and you're not subscribed, you might as well help me reach that milestone. The other thing is my Patreon, if you want to help support me and the channel directly, or you want to get access to some solo leveling and omniscient reader reviews, there's a link to my Patreon down in the description. You can check that out if you're interested. With that out of the way, let's get on with the review. In this week's chapter, we got the end of the fight between Asta and Lilith. I think that's what I started calling it. So in last week's chapter, Lilith summoned a giant freezing sun and threw it down at the city, and Asta responded by turning his first sword into the biggest magic sword ever. Well, I guess anti-magic sword. The biggest fuck-off anime sword, and he just hit it back at him. As a few people in the comments have pointed out, that is quite the development from back when he was just barely being able to bounce back Magna's little fireballs. So yeah, Lilith just kind of sinks into the sun thing. It doesn't really seem to have an impact on them. I assume that's because it's like their own magic. And then Asta takes out the Demon Dweller and does a shitload of ranged attacks, as I'm pretty sure he always does with Demon Dweller. Dices up the sun, charges forward. Lilith tries doing a bunch of magic attacks, and he just erases all of it with Demon Destroyer. So it would seem that all of his swords have been extremely buffed in this state. As a few people have pointed out, Demon Destroyer actually changes when he uses it. It gets like this big ring connecting the blade and the hilt. I assume that's like the releasing of the anti-magic field. So Lilith can't believe like what's going on, because of course they were the Supreme Devil in the first circle, or the first level of the underworld. We're assuming this is hell. I'm pretty sure there are 9 levels of the Clive fought. I need to check again. Maybe there are not, but I'm thinking like 9 circles of hell here. So this is just kind of limbo. So these guys are just the big bads of the first circle, but it's just the first circle, and no one else seemingly kind of messes around between the different layers of the underworld. So Lilith and Nacht were pretty much undisputed. No one could challenge them, and especially not Liebe, because he was the weakest among all of them. So now, here he is, fused with Asta, and they are kicking Lilith and Nacht's ass, which is great. So, of course, Lilith is like, what the hell is going on? My attacks don't work, he can attack me, there shouldn't be anyone like this, everything in the world exists to entertain me, but this isn't fun. So what's going on here? What is this weird emotion I'm experiencing? So Lilith, Lilith, they're experiencing something I quite like, which is the battle-hungry maniac realizing, oh wait, I don't like fighting, I like winning. And now that I'm not winning, I am not very happy with the situation anymore. You've seen it a few times. Sometimes it's like a character, breaking down, and, that's the sign of them losing the fight. That's kind of what's happening here. It's kind of like what happened when Darkshine fought Garo. Then you have other examples of it, like Cosmo from Kengan Ashura, when he realizes that he doesn't like fighting people, because he doesn't like getting hurt or anything. He just likes beating people. He likes winning. And that inspires him to go further. But this is an example of the first. And Liebe's like, you wouldn't have no idea what this emotion you're experiencing is, because you've never had to before. But what you're experiencing right now is called fear. And in hindsight, I really, really love all the times when Liebe is talking shit to the Supreme Devils, the higher ranked devils, because he was trash, he was garbage, they walked all over him when he was in the underworld, and now that his power is able to be utilized by someone else, it's like, what's up, bitch? You want to say that shit to my face now? Yeah, it's always great. It's fantastic. That's probably my favorite part of the whole chapter, is Liebe telling Lilith that they're experiencing fear. So Lilith realizes how Asta's fusion works, and that he's only got a minute of time left. So the winning strategy here would to just be run away until Asta's transformation runs out, which I guess in hindsight is kind of a functioning plan. I mean, basically the only weakness of this form is that it has a time limit. So that is a fairly legitimate strategy, and Lilith is going to get away until Nacht shows up. So this isn't going to be 100% just Asta and Liebe beating Lilith. Nacht is also going to play a major role in that as well. In fact, he's going to be the one that gives them the opportunity to deal the finishing blow. And he mentions how it's extremely ironic that a supreme devil with ungodly amounts of magic energy, as Nacht pointed out last chapter, I think, like, it has so much magic that it would drive him crazy just to think about it. That they are terrified right now of a human who has no magic energy. A human and devil with no magic whatsoever. They are scared shitless of them, which is great. That also develops off what Asta said last chapter. I think last chapter. I think it was last chapter. Where he's like, yeah, I'm sure you guys are, like, really huge badasses or whatever, but, like, I'm not able to process the power system like everyone else can, so doesn't really mean anything to me. So he does his vertical slice. This seems to be his new, like, defining move. Is he cuts you in half down the middle. Or, goddamn, I'm forgetting the word. Diagonally. Holy shit. I can't believe I keep forgetting that word. Like, every time I do a chapter review, I forget the word diagonal. That's so awkward. But yeah, they cut Lilith in half right as the transformation ends, and we get a very nice full-page panel of the two of them kind of doing, like, a... What even is this? It's not a fist bump. They're, like, crossing arms. You know, they're doing, like, a really manly handshake thing. It's great. It's good shit. This is pretty much the culmination of all the training and character development that they've had going on since, like, oh god, how long has it been? Like 25 chapters. So yeah, pretty fucking solid shit. And that's where the chapter ends. So this seems to be going the way that I and a lot of other people have thought it would go, is that Asta and Liebe beat Lilith and Nacht, and their transformation runs out at, like, the last second or whatever. It runs out right after they beat them. And it's like, yeah, we beat the Supreme Devils. And then the next gate of the Clover opens, and it's like, oh shit, now there's a new super overpowered devil here, and we are not, we can't do our fusion right now. We need, like, a 20-minute break. So, well, what are we gonna do? And that's when all of the other characters are going to show up. We're going to have the rest of the Black Bulls, we're going to have whatever other characters from the other Magic Knight squads, they're going to show up, and we're going to get to see them kick some ass. But I'm assuming since they don't just have hacks turn off the power system abilities like Asta does, I'm going to assume that those fights will probably be a little more difficult, for most of the characters anyway. But with that, we are just going to have to see what happens in the next chapter. So, if you enjoyed this review, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Black Clover chapter reviews every week. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Jujutsu Kaisen, Kengan Omega, and Kaiju number 8, I do videos in those series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing Black Clover with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord. I have a link to that down in the description. Since it's the end of the video, it's time to give a shout out to my wonderful patrons, Archbear CJ2K, Fuse, Neo, Solo Warrior, Tyrese Simmons, Dejon Redden, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Holly Walker, Angel Does It, Chris Redfield, and Brendan Lee. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at the end of videos, or you want to get access to some solo leveling and omniscient reader reviews, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.